Time. I'm roping it. Who cares what they're thinking? Don't want no behavior. Don't turn disorder. Don't cross the border. Don't cross the border. Greetings, one and all. Beautiful souls. Aquarius, full moon, new earth things, 8-8, portal. Lots of things to talk about. Even though I'm things to this person, no, you're gonna go live today. I mean, I light up things too. Happy full moon in Aquarius. Having a good time, having a good time. Oh, no behavior. Total disorder. Greetings, red lady angel. The whole place I get turned over. That's right. Mash it up, mash it up. Yeah, man. This is what we're talking about. You see? We volunteered to come here. That's right, to mash up things. And while we mash up things, we're still bringing in love at the same time. Master yourself through this. No behavior. Greetings. Elevated goddess. Love that name. We start already. Have no behavior. No behavior. According to their standards, of course. But this is how we did. That's right. And how did we do it? We came together. We dance. We sing. This is our praise. That's right. As we're bringing in the new earth codes, the new energy, everything we're bringing into manifestation on the earth. That's right. The feminine energy is coming in so strong. Can you feel it? I must clear the energy and dance before I start talking. Yes, a very powerful time. Woo. Oh, she like it. Yes. You know, YouTube, I'm going to say something about the music, but good for them. All I know is I have to bring in all this power, all this energy. I've been feeling so high. That's right. High for the past several days. Why have I been feeling high? Whew, that's what's up. Greetings, everyone. How be you? How be you? How are you processing? How are you manifesting? How are you bringing in things? How are you shifting things? Where are you in your power? Where are you in facing yourself, facing the truth, facing your shadow? All the masks are off. That's right. I'm just lighting the sage to make sure I keep the energy clear. Sweating through all this energy. That's right. Woo. That's right. I'm bringing in soca today. Soca. Because you know what? It's about keeping yourself moving in the energy, moving through in the vibration. Whether you're going through positive or negative frequencies, okay? Sometimes it might be all at the same time, okay? And yes, there's so many things that's breaking down around us, but in the midst of the breaking down, we're building up, okay? We're building, okay? It's not going to come from Babylon. It's not going to come from your neighbor unless your neighbor's on the same frequency as you. You are the epitome. You are the chosen, whomever or whatever you classify yourself as in this timeline, okay? And the portal is open, and that portal is open for another round, you know, because every year we go through the Lion's Gate. Every year. It's a cycle, right? And I was listening to someone on YouTube a little bit yesterday, and she was mentioning about us being during that time of Atlantis. And let me just take out this gum. Excuse me. And she was mentioning, and it made so much sense, which is not because I didn't know, talking about, especially with a lot of the connections. And with the connections, there was so much split that took place. There was so much what we call interference, things that started to descend in consciousness. The chakras were coming out of alignment. A lot of things were starting to deteriorate. A lot of things started to pull away. A lot of the codes and things got shut down. And so some of us went to different lands. Some of us separated. Some of us split from our beloveds, split from our families. Things were just disintegrating all over the place. And some of us had to flee and leave from where we were and start beginning again. But no matter where we went, we still carried the, how do I say, the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions that we were connected to with that pain. And even so, there were some who went through more pain because they separated themselves from source. When you separate yourself from source, that's when you feel more pain. That's because you either was in a place of where you allowed someone to take over and rule over you. You gave your power away. Okay. That comes through a lot for a lot of people that I do readings for, giving your power away. And it comes in very subtly, you know, when I talk about what it means when you give your power away. And so for some, they listened to what somebody else said. They believed what somebody else said about them. And then they started to believe that whatever it is that they were told, whatever was given to them, that is true. And in most cases, most people started to follow what somebody else says, you know, just following a leader or following someone that's connected to the religious, purposes. Someone who became their boss. So they gave away their power, even based on the gifts that they had, the talents that they have, who they are, the power. Being able to look at yourself in the mirror and see your own beauty, your own strength, and your own frequency in how you connect to yourself and source, and also who you're connected to, including your tribe, okay? So now what has been moving in that reverse cycle is things are splitting and dismantling more and more. The light is shining even through into the density and the darkness of the things that have been, I would say, embedded on earth, the density that has been on earth. And each time that something is freeing up, then something more is coming online to do with our gifts. So if you find yourself feeling like you're more telepathic with someone, if you find yourself that certain aspect of your gifts start to show itself, like I went to my cousin's wedding on Sunday. It was a beautiful wedding. Oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. It's like everything was just pure love. Just pure love was just emanating through the entire time. And the same morning I had a dream to do with my cousin, seeing her, and I hadn't seen her. It's a different cousin. I hadn't seen her in over 2-3 years. And I dreamt that I saw her. And when I saw her, I said, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're here." And then I said to her, "Oh wow, you put on some, put on weight on your body." And then something happened to do with my aunt, who I was also not like connecting to as much either, since I was going through all my spiritual full-blown spiritual awakening, as one would say. And what I described to her in the dream about putting on a gold dress, she said that she was going to wear a gold dress. So I was like, oh my gosh, I have never had a dream, or I've never dreamt, and the same day the dream comes true. That has never happened. Most of the time, the dreams that I've had, usually it might take a year, 2 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. But now it's coming in faster. Okay, so what that tells me, what that's showing me from spirit, is that some of us are accelerating into higher timelines, as one would say. Okay. And not only is it to do with the part of ourselves that is activating through the lion's portal, because it represents how we connect to our own courage, our own fearlessness, our heart, the heart center, following your heart, listening to the inner guidance, believing in yourself, that even if whatever you have been ordained, as one would say, or whatever spirit has guided you to do or to be, that you follow that path, that even if it's minimal, or even if it's strange, or even if it makes no sense to you, but you know that something's pulling on you to do that. That's the key. Because if you come off path, then what will happen is everything around you is going to continue to fall apart. Okay? Because it's like they're saying that sometimes there's some people who like to take the path of least resistance, because if they take the path of least resistance, then that means then for them that they will not have to deal with drama, or they don't have to really speak the truth, or it'll go away. No, that's not happening anymore. It's not happening anymore. Because even some people, when I have shared with them and told them things that I saw coming for them, and I could feel the resistance, because the energy can't hide from me. It's like, as soon as you start talking, as soon as you come around me, I don't have to get birth dates and all that kind of stuff. And then it's like, I'm like, oh, I could feel the resistance coming. And then a few months later, that resistance is breaking down. It is breaking down. And there becomes that surrender, because what's happening is the soul itself, the soul, you, that part of you, that spark within you, if it is not in alignment with what's going on earth, then what's going to happen is not going to feel right. And so there's some people who may be processing anger, frustration, feeling like they want to give up, depression, feeling like they don't want to eat, feeling disconnected, feeling like they want to pull away from their family, feeling as if something is off, or feeling as if what do I say? Like they want to run away too. Okay. There's some people that are leaving from where they are, leaving from their jobs, leaving relationships. And especially during this time, relationships are heightened even more because Venus is in retrograde. So we have a lot of power punch stuff going on here. Okay. And I've been getting a lot of readings, especially to do with relationships, relationship readings, because there's so many people that they're going through either splitting up, or some people are just meeting their connection, whether male or female. And there's some that are in resistance, and there's some that are not in resistance. Okay. And so either way, as you are in resistance, it's still a part of the process with whomever, however they are. The key is how you stay in connection through your heart center, how you stay in connection to what messages you're receiving, how you stay on path to your true knowing, okay, the inner Christ within you, how you stay on path that even if everything that you own, everything that you have is going to disappear, let it go, because whatever is meant to be will come back for you. It will come back for you, because whatever is meant to be for you will be for you by right of consciousness. And that's just the way it is. And once you keep practicing and staying in that mode, or in that alignment with yourself and the creator, you will experience what it is like to just have everything continuously magically happen day after day after day. That's what I'm going through. Like the minute I have the thought, the minute I feel something, boom, here it is. Okay. I don't know if any one of you follow me on Instagram and stuff, and I shared in my stories how I got a dress that came in the mail. I didn't order the dress. Beautiful fall dress. Okay. Then I got a big candle from Joe Malone. Didn't ask for the candle. The candle was given to me as a gift coming from spirit. You see, so it's about being in that divine flow, that divine power that's within you. Because remember, when things happened during the fall of Atlantis, there were beings that did not want us to elevate, did not want us to be able to access certain codes that we had within us. And so the best way to get you to come off path is to what? To keep creating fear and doubt, constant wars, constant, what do you call it? Separation consciousness, feeling as if someone has to tell you what to do, or you're powerless. And whether male or female, there's also those type of wars that have been going on back and forth between a man and a woman. And there's a war of women and what the presence of a woman means, and the identity of a woman, the power of the woman, the power of the womb, the connection of the womb, and the connection to the earth itself, and the power of the womb, and the power of the connection of the womb and the man and the womb man, and also nature itself, because the amount of things that they're putting in the foods, the amount of things they're putting in the air, everything, everything all at once. And so the more you heal, the more you stay in alignment with your personal healing, what is being shown to you, what is being given to you, because that's your gift. What your body is telling you, what your body is speaking to you is so important, because the more you stay in alignment with that, the more you're also able to hear spiritually, to feel the vibration within you, to know what it means when you're connecting to it. So you're making the right choices. You're making the right choices for you. You're not making choices for what somebody else's choice. Men of business, how spiritual they are, how much validation they have on credentials and all that stuff. Again, this is about you coming into your power even more, where you know it, you're not afraid to speak it. Your throat chakra is happy. It's opened up. You're elevated. You're elevated through your heart center, okay? The mind itself is also at peace, because you know that it feels right, that even if it doesn't look right, you go by the feelings first now, where before people would go by what the mind and what it looks like, and and that they have to have validation, because that's what I get a lot. When I get a lot of readings, it's always someone trying to get validation. And when I do a reading, I'm not going to tell you the answer. I'm going to guide you towards how you find the answer within yourself. So be very leery of anyone that you do get guidance from. When they're guiding you, are they giving you the opportunity for you to feel into the answer for yourself, or are they telling you what the answer is, and then once they give you the answer, then you go with that program, which was the age of Pisces, where that program itself was that I have to get my answers from someone else. I have to get the answers from someone else who has a better connection than me, and therefore I'll be able to see what I'm supposed to do and then leave it at that. I feel that most of humanity has become very lazy, don't want to try to figure things out, don't want to exercise the mind itself in what they can put the pieces together and connecting to the heart center with it, because the heart is what's being activated more and more. Like, you can feel it. Okay, you can feel it. The more you're healing, again, the healing component is what's imperative for you to say that you can feel what will be the highest point or the highest vantage center that you can be through that element on the earth, and what's constantly coming on board with the Schumann resonance, everything that's shifting in terms of the temperatures that are rising on the earth. And there's another part, like where I am right now, we have not had a hot summer. It's actually like fall. Okay, it's like fall. Literally, it feels like fall temperatures. Okay, I've had to close the windows at night. So it's like everything's moving through a spectrum of what's having to balance. Okay, so whatever you're not balancing within yourself, then if you are on a path where someone you've met that triggers you, they're going to be assisting you with what must come into balance. The more you project anything onto that individual, is the more it's going to come back to you, to what you have to look at within yourself. So if you're going through that type of process, that's going to be escalating even more so now during this time with Venus being in retrograde, because it has to do with the reviewing of where we have been when it comes to feminine energy, how you connect to feminine energy. What does it mean for you to be in your own power in how you think, how you feel, how you bring your own tribe together when it comes to how you give advice, right? And then the advice you're giving to yourself, how you're giving your own self-care as much as what you've given to others. Whereas it has been before where, especially the mother is always doing everything and doing everything. Everything is given away, given away, given away. And now it's where, how can I bring myself to balance where I give myself the time to take a shower, to eat something, to keep balancing out how we are practicing self-care, and then how we're giving that care to others, okay? How we're allowing other people to go through their stuff, that we're not here to save anyone. We're not saving anyone anymore. All those programmings is leaving so much, and you can literally feel yourself detaching even more and more from things to do with the news or things to do with somebody else's story and the drama and stuff. Because for me personally, I don't place myself in any position to entertain people and their dramas, or anybody with their dramas. I walk away. If I have to say something, I say something, and then I go right back to my merry, happy self, and I'll start singing and dancing. And it doesn't mean that I'm not paying attention to what's going on out there, but there's a difference between when you're listening, hearing something, how much you attach to it, how much you detach from it, and then you keep moving forward. Because the more you participate in the stories, the storytelling, the constant traumas, the trauma bonding, the trauma pain, what this one did here, there, and here, and fear, and back here, and past tense, future, present, then guess what? That's what's looping in the energy field. Because when I read the energy, this is what's repeating. So if you want something to look different, if you want things to appear different in your reality, start changing your thoughts. Invite yourself into the experience of creating something new, so you start having that experience where it's something new and it's not the same anymore. Okay, so that's what's very, very important right now. How much things you're having to review in terms of your connection to feminine energy, your connection to masculine energy. Where have you been in terms of your relationship with your father, the father figure? Where have you been in terms of your relationship with your children? Whatever is still what we call a cover up, if you are not still addressing stuff that you've had during your childhood to do with your mother and your father, it's going to keep showing up in your face and your reality, whether you have children or not, whether it's someone you work with or not. If you're not honoring yourself fully when it comes to your relationships, okay, those relationships are going to mirror back to you even more now than ever what you're not dealing with, what you're not choosing to look at, what you're pretending as if it's going to go away or it doesn't exist, is going to mirror back to you. Be mindful of the words you speak more than ever. And the reason I say that, because as you speak it out, the words itself is emanating and it's starting to create itself into form. It's making its form, it's making its way into your space, into your reality. Be mindful of what you pay attention to, not even just the news, but what people are posting on social media. I felt so disgusted, I think it was last week or the week before, with certain things. And I felt like, you know what? Me can't wait until when the internet goes down anyway. You know why? Because that means then all of the dysfunctional energy and information that's going out there, no one will be at any capacity to look at it, to read it, to absorb it. Okay? So this is where it's so important, again, to pay attention to what you're reading, what you're watching, what you're paying attention to. People who get upset because if you don't go along with what they say or what they're posting or whatever, be mindful of those things too. Be centered again still and how you are in your own power, that even if you read something and you look at it and say, oh, okay, but it doesn't change, it doesn't bring anything fragmenting within you, nothing is starting to split, nothing is starting to break down, that's your test. Okay, that you have the ability to go in a room where there's 100 people, and those people could be going through all their stuff, but when you walk in that room, you own it. I don't mean you own it because they're giving something to you or saying something like, "Oh, look at you." No, I'm talking because you're feeling it. Stay in your lane again, like I've said before, as much as possible. Pay attention to the triggers that show up with your body. Your body is giving you the biggest messages more than anything else. That includes your dream state, anyone you're interacting with on a daily basis, anything that you come into contact with, in terms of if you do read something, and of course spirit is going to still bring whatever needs to come in your space that you have to read, that you have to see, that you have to hear. If it's something you smell, it could be the dog, it could be anything. Okay, don't run away from it. This is the time where you can't run away from it, even if you try, because you have to face the mirror now. You have to face the bigger mirrors now. And what I've been noticing, again, based on these readings that I've been doing for the past years, I've been doing like 10 readings a day. Oh, yeah. And when I see that happening, I know Spirit says it's on. And by the way, what happened the last time, what I spoke about when someone said something against me and I said I snatched my power back and I filed whatever it is with the company? Well, it worked. It worked. Because you see, when you are constantly aligning with truth and you're in integrity with that truth, it will always stay on path for you all the time. And then eventually you won't get as much as what we call the kickbacks or something that you feel is going against you. See, so whenever you are facing something that is like an opposition, see where that opposition is within you, in terms of not only how you're attracting it, but what part of yourself that there's a little bit more that you have to look deeper within. And then what action do you take with it, and align with it with physical action if necessary, also with your thoughts, the thought patterns, the beliefs, fears, especially the fears. Okay? Try not to stay too stuck in the fears, whether it's fear of the future, fear of the past, fear of retribution, fear of what someone might say, fear of what someone might do. Okay, because all the fears that come up is all the memories of what you had in those timelines, again with Atlantis, and all those times is where you stayed stuck and you transitioned, incarnated again. The story repeated itself again through another scenario with the same players, the same key players. So even the ones that are what we call that went against you, or the energy and the forces that try to stop you, as one would say, they still serve their purpose through the divine, because the way to get to where you are getting to, in terms of, you know, the things that you want to enjoy and to have in your life. Because the new earth itself, and what it represents is, yes, it's here. It's a choice that you have in what you do, how you are creating it, but you still have to face the shadow. And the shadow is what's highlighting even more now. And then that part of you finds that courage to move forward, to recreate, pay attention to everything on all sides, and still keep it moving. Okay? Find the little bit of joy that you can find within you. I notice, because, you know, I observe everything, that when someone is constantly sharing information, I'm going to information. Remember, I'm Aquarius now, so I'm all about the data. Okay? Data. Information, right? Higher mind, higher thoughts. The more you focus on something, is the more you're going to be sucking it in, and the more you're bringing it into your frequency, and the more you're bringing yourself into a space of creating something that's connected to that type of reality. So if you are participating with a group of people that are constantly focused on something in one particular stance, that's all you're going to see. That's all you're going to have. And this is where people, I notice there's quite a few people that stay trapped in some of these mental capacities and mental spaces with these particular type of thing. And then I'm like, how about we switch it up? You talk and discuss about something. Yes, the government's this. Yes, this one, that. Yes, the aliens. Yes, the clones. Yes, whatever. But then go back to the space of how you're creating the new reality. You're observing what's breaking down. You see it for what it may or may not be. Because remember, the things that you might believe is true may be wrong, and the things that you feel is wrong may be right. So it's very imperative to stay neutral. How I mean stay neutral mean you're aware of that information, you're observant of it, you feel into it, right? Whether you close your eyes or you open your eyes, you feel into that energy. Does it feel true? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. When you don't know, leave it alone. Don't keep dwelling on it. Because the more you focus, and you know what happens to what's happening with some people who are dwelling on the same thing over and over again, they're starting to have mental breakdowns, they're starting to skits out, they're starting to get more emotionally traumatized, they're starting to act out. Ooh, 11:11, as I say this, they're starting to act out with things that one would say is not normal. Okay, and it's starting to affect them. And the reason why it affects people the way it does is because that is the example of how you give your power away. So whether there's someone who has a spiritual title or how much they can see or whatever, if you don't also exercise what your inner spirit is saying to you, besides what that person is, then you are still in the same, you're still in the same thing. It's the same thing you're repeating again that what happened before. So whether it's someone labeled as a pastor, a teacher, a doctor, or this or whatever, it's the same thing. You're doing the same thing. Okay? And so the one thing I know, or what I even realized more for myself, it's not the first time. Greetings, Milana. I find myself with certain things that I, might look at, pay attention to, observe, where I might be the only one, saying, that's not it, and I'm going to be alone with the thought. I'm going to be alone with what I know to be true. I may not have people behind me say, yes, Minu, yes, that's true. Yeah. That is where the path is for you, where you are not seeking validation or that you're going to feel comfortable because someone else is agreeing with you. You must follow what you know is truth. The truth itself, of course, is relative to the way it is in this time, but eventually we still reach to the ultimate truth because it's moving through a spectrum. Okay, this consciousness, which I call it consciousness, okay, it moves in waves, and the way it moves in waves of, I have this thought, you have that thought, then this other person comes on, they have this thought, this is a similar thought, this has a similar thought, but then it's not the same thought. This is what the purpose of where twin souls come in, because it's like you're going to be similar and you're going to be the opposite at the same time. So it can be like, well, which answer is it? And most of the time Spirit says, well, there is no right or wrong answer, but there is a principle of when you know something does not fit right, doesn't feel right, okay? At that moment, even if it was okay 5 days ago, but something in you doesn't feel right, guess what? Follow when your spirit says, okay, you know what? I'm not going to do it again, because that is the practice that you're getting from Spirit to exercise that energy like a muscle. Like I even went to get my eye tested, and I haven't changed my glasses in years. When I say years, okay, I'm talking that prescription is not even the same. So when I went in there, this is just last week's story, and I went in there, sat down, heard one of the doctor that usually see me, she moved to go to Florida. So the doctor that I was getting, I was waiting on him, and I heard Spirit say, you haven't got a glasses in a long time. Oops. And I was like, yeah, you're right. But then I know that with my plan, I could either get contacts or glasses. So I said, but I heard this clear as day. Spirit said, well, you're going to get both today. And I was like, okay. That's all I said. I didn't argue. I just like, okay. Soon as I went in to get the exam, guess what the doctor said to me? He says, Sharon, you have 2 different plans here. You'll be able to get glasses and contacts. See, that's how Spirit is rolling with me every day. They talk to me every day. It's so powerful. It's so gentle. It's so like, whew. Okay, it's easy. And so what happened now, the glasses that I picked though, I was like, oh, I just want to get glasses with little gold and some brown thing, whatever, right? And I picked the glasses, went back yesterday to go get it. And when I looked at it, and because I took Charlize because she needed to get her eyes tested too as well, and Brandon. And when I looked at it, I was like, you know what? I don't even like it again. I really don't like it again. And then I started feeling like, man, but maybe what if they won't be able to change it because they already fitted it and put the lens in there and all kind of stuff. And I heard Spirit say, just tell them you don't like it. It's not going to hurt you. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So I said to the guy, I said, can I change the guy? He's like, yeah, sure. You have 30 days. And I was like, whoa. And I changed the glasses to a darker frame because I noticed that when I had tried on the other glasses, my face didn't look the same. My aura didn't feel the same. The energy didn't feel the same, which was just last week. So when I saw how I was able to, it's a different type of manipulation. The energy that was manipulated was things move in a divine flow, and it moves according to where I'm shifting in consciousness, where I'm shifting in vibration to what feels right, what looks good on me, what feels good for me, not for anyone else but me. You see? And even if something seems impossible, we make it possible because we know who we are. So it's being in a greater stance of knowing who you are. So it's just like the lion doesn't need to be told that it's a lion, because the lion knows it's a lion. It may not know itself and say, hey, I'm a lion. It just presents itself in a presence of power. Okay? The lioness, like I saw a video with a lioness and the lion where the lion wanted to have sex with it, and the lioness was like, get away from me, whatever. And they were just roaring back and forth with each other. And he left her alone, and then she just walked away like, that's right, I'm the shit. You see? So the more you move in the pattern, that's what Spirit is using, the word pattern of who you are, that even if something changes in the moment, you change your mind. Don't compromise yourself. Don't settle for less, even with relationships, even with your children. Even if, like, when I watch this video, this the singer, she does a lot of videos now to help a lot of new mothers, and I love it because there's so much things that has not been discussed when it comes to being a mother and what it takes to be a mother. And I'm talking about being a mother from the time that you conceive that child until the time when you give birth to the child, until the time, and I'm not taking away from anyone who's adopted a child or whatever. I'm talking about the real raw macaw. And a lot of times what happens is mothers have sacrificed themselves and they don't have time for themselves and the things that they need to do. And she was saying, you know, have you done this where you have the newborn baby and you don't get to take a bath, you don't get to eat, you don't get to do anything because you just want to take care of the baby. And, you know, as soon as the baby cries, as soon as this happens, you do this, you do that. Well, this is where we stop and we start to make an assessment of how we create balance. The balance of what we do now is very, very crucial to what comes next. So that means if you've been waiting on that connection, relationship to come together for you in the physical realm, ask yourself this question honestly. Am I ready for this? Am I ready? Am I ready for myself? Am I ready to compromise? Am I ready to compromise where I'm standing in my power like the lion, but I'm also able to just be so cool and mellow with letting things be at the same time while I'm in my power? You see? And I don't gotta be all mad over it either, because there's some people that take it so personal. I mean, take things personal, but not that personal. Like, get over yourself too, you know, because a lot of the ego is like, ooh, like it's really like pushing. It's pushing. And it has to happen because, I mean, how else is the baby going to come out, right? How else are you going to come forward? How else are you going to really see the true outward manifestation of self? The more you self-realize what you must do to bring that balance for yourself, the more you will see that wonderful version of yourself and how it looks in your physical reality. You see? And that's what I've been going through for myself. That's what I've been experiencing. I've been experiencing everything happening everywhere all at once. Like, seriously, I wasn't even planning to do a live today. I'll be so honest with you. As we say, dead ass. I literally went all the way to Ridgewood, New Jersey, get my nice little Haagen-Dazs ice cream, and then all her spirit, I was just feeling so good. And her spirit said, you know, you're going to do a live again. You know, it's the moon in Aquarius. And I'm like, oh yeah, right. And it's like, I feel like, and then of course, you know, my ascendant is in Sagittarius. So that fiery energy is just really ignited within me right now. I feel this power, and I feel myself even more grounded with the power. So before, I would all be thinking about what this might be, how this connect and how that connects, but now it's about how we ground who we are becoming in this reality. And other people do not necessarily have to hear from you what you have to do, what you say. It's because they're feeling it and witnessing it. This is how it's working now. We're not saving anyone. We're not saving the earth. It's not saving. It's just being in the moment of being and being and being, as each version of yourself starts to keep peeling off and coming through. You know, like I even did a reading with this man who said he was married. He said his connection was married, and he said that he felt a pull. So I said to him, okay, and I already knew when he said pull, I knew what that meant, right? Of course, you get the push-pull experience. And so what was interesting was that he kept saying, oh, am I going to hear from her or whatever? So I said, well, Spirit is not showing me that. I said, because the way I see the energy, because I read the energy now, is where it's just stuck. It's just there. That's it. There's nothing I see in motion. I said, but oftentimes I tell people, if you want to see something move differently in your life, especially if it's something that's bothering you or something that shows up in your reality in terms of how you're feeling, what can you do to change that? What can you do? Not because you are doing something because you're expecting to have an outcome or something from someone else. What it means is that you do something different in your own reality, okay? Even if it's a thought, and watch and see how things just start to change around you. If you wake up with an expectation that everything comes into alignment for you, that every day is a surprise, that universe will bring a surprise for you, then that's what you will receive. If you wake up every moment and you think, well, I'll get that, but maybe it's not going to happen today, or maybe I don't deserve it, or maybe it's just impossible, then that's exactly what that reality is going to be for you. Okay? So, and I would never tell anyone what they need to do for themselves, because this is where we all have to figure ourselves out. You got to really go deeper and deeper into yourself in what you are to discover, and keep rediscovering and discovering and discovering. And so that man kept trying to push and push it to whether or not, this woman will call, contact him, whatever. And I said, to be honest, Spirit tells me that there is something to do with the truth that you're not wanting to look at. I said, because no matter how much we point outward, there's always something that's going to reflect it right back to us. Okay? Every single component. It's just like I look at when you look at a fan and you see all the spokes of the fan or the spokes of a wheel, all of those spokes meet at some place and converge together. It meets at a certain point and it's still connected. So we're all connected. We're all connected. Even if it is something that is not good, as we call it, we do not have the authority to say what is good or not good, no matter how it looks. And I know that is something that most humans cannot deal with that. Okay? And I'm not saying to ignore the evils of the world, as we call it, and the things. So all I'm saying is the more we work on what we see, how we are processing what we see based on the labeling of what we see, and look at it as how does it show up in my reality for me to see that part of myself that I couldn't see. And when I shift and change my thought on what I see, then I see something different, and then it becomes lighter inside. So going through this portal is not just the talk and the fancy words. It's where you are in your own space, in how you are bringing those pieces together of what is happening in your foundation. And as you are going through the experience itself of what you're experiencing and your perception of it, and does it make you feel heavy? Does it make you feel lighter? If it feels heavy, then what can I do to make it lighter? Okay? And again, I'm not saying to ignore. All I'm saying is, if I'm doing something externally, some people say, which I say too, like, oh, you're going through this person did that, then, You need to go take a sea salt bath. You need to go and do some chakra cleansing. You need to go read this book. You need to come join my class. You need to go drink some tea. You need to go get some sleep. You need to eat this. You need to do. Be still first. Go within. Feel into the root of where the feelings come from. Let's rewind. Let's release the chitter chatter of anything else that the mind is trying to tell you what it could be or what it can't be, and then you start to create more stories, and then the fear comes into the stories, and then as you wrap the fear with the stories, then your reality starts to just look totally utterly different than what it wasn't even meant to be. Okay? And once we do that and make that a practice, okay, you set yourself free. That's where the freedom comes in. The freedom is not going to be coming in only based on because of what you hear, and then someone else tells you, yeah, that's what you got to do to be in your freedom. The representation of freedom is how you feel free inside. When you feel free inside, you're at peace. If you're not at peace still, it doesn't mean that you're on the wrong path. It doesn't mean you're not doing things the right way. It just means what more is there for you to explore. Okay, keep exploring yourself. If you feel that you get triggered by what this person did or what happened yesterday or what didn't happen, where you feel like you're you're not able to be in control of a certain situation, and you want it to be this way, that way, and then you're still working on the art of letting go, right? The feminine part of you, what feminine aspect is within you, with that part, with balancing out, letting go, nurturing yourself, connecting to yourself. Okay, and as you continue to connect with yourself, then you're able to really tap in to how you can bring in that inner balance, because you're tapping into yourself. That even if you made plans, you wake up and say, oh, I don't know if I want to do this again, and then you don't do it. The more you listen to that inner authority, the stronger you become inside. The more you're exercising your abilities to connect to that frequency of the ability to say no and setting those boundaries. Okay, even if you don't want to let someone down, that even if someone says, oh, I was going to go with you, and they change their mind, then go by yourself. Be in the art of being by yourself too, enjoying your own company. You'd be surprised how you might create your reality that more company comes right next to you, and the next thing you know, you're really not alone. Does it have to be with something or someone in particular, or a certain date? See, this is what flow means, being in constant flow every single day, and being in a childlike energy of magic and wonder, and no expectations, especially the no expectations. That even if your path changed, which I know some people get upset over that too, when they realize their path is not the way they thought it was going to be. And it's okay if your path has changed, if it's not what you thought it was going to be, because we can only get things in certain dosages, in one bit at a time, one step at a time, because your body and your mind can only take it one step at a time. There is so much connectivity to trauma that we have had for lifetimes after lifetimes. You see, it's like even another reading I did on a young lady yesterday, and she broke up with her beloved, and she was perceiving the way his attitude was, right, that he didn't really care anymore and everything. And I told her there was an energy presenting itself where the both of them were still operating from a past life, and in that past life there was interference with a family member and another entity. When I use the word entity loosely, because even though we might look at an individual that might have a name, right? Like say we say Anne and Patrick. It's not about Anne and Patrick. It's the energy that's connecting to you. And so that energy that she connects to, whatever experience happened, she gave her power away. So she felt powerless. She felt like every time love is taken away from me, every time something happens that I don't get to experience it fully. And so she repeated the cycle again with this individual. And I told her, when she starts working on herself with staying in her own inner knowing and power, that just because if it looks like they broke up, that it's really not a breakup, that it's more of a pause, and where she has to assess herself in where she's standing in her truth and knowing, and she starts working through the fear blocks that she has. And I told her that she was really focusing a lot on the abandonment and the feeling as if something is always breaking her apart, and all her relationships are always breaking apart, like I told her, you see. And once I was finished with her in that reading conversation, she felt so much better because she changed her perception of what she was experiencing. The more that you change your perception, or just observe yourself and observe how the energy is presenting itself, not the physical first, the energy first, because I know it's very difficult to practice. It's like a muscle, you know, where you used to, I got to do this way, that way, and then that's it. Okay, and what I see is what it is. But if you change it where you feel into the energy first, I've had to do that with my children all the time. They're like, oh no, da da da, and I say, that's not what I see in the energy. And a lot of times it'd be like I'm having a battle with them, but I know that it takes time, because on the planet we've been used to being constantly seeing things, and immediately the trauma begins. Immediately the rawness of the anger or the frustration or the fears start to come in first. And also when someone just accepts what something has happened, and this is the reason why so many relationships have split on the earth. Number one, too, especially because majority of people have been programmed to stick it out with something that's not real or that's not authentic. So it's very important to be real with yourself. If you know in your heart that something's over, what are you waiting on? Like what, why? Like it's such a waste of time. It really is. But I know that you still have to go through more things. And I say that, you know, for some people, they just love to suffer. I prefer to take off the Band-Aid. But even if you're not, the universe is going to do it for you. Because even when that man was asking me about the lady and stuff like that, and he said he was married and stuff like that. But, you know, I say, if you are married, if you are in a relationship, are you happy? Are you truly, genuinely happy? And then I take it higher, because I talk about this in the book. Are you in the highest place of blissfulness within yourself that connects to that individual who's also actively working on themselves, who's also taking accountability for themselves? Okay? And sometimes and oftentimes people will like to still dance around things and say, oh, but you know, are they going to do this, that? And I said, whatever they do or don't do, it's not going to change what you have to still look at within yourself and the energy and what's being presented. See, this is the part I'm talking about with some people, where the programming is where, just go along with it. Oh, let's not make a fuss. Let's continue with the facade. We cannot continue with the facades anymore. We cannot pretend anymore. We can't act like as if it's not there anymore. Okay? And everything else that's going on in the world is going to still keep happening, going on in the world. But what's important is paying attention to your backyard and your lane, because as you shift, as you observe yourself and everything that's going on, then that's what's creating a new line, a new timeline, a new frequency of what's looking different on the earth. Okay? Because it's not going to come from anything else outside of you voluntarily. Like the government's not going to do it for you, no matter what games is going on, or even if there's no games that's going on. Suppose there's things that spirit is using, but you're so caught up in the name, and you're so caught up in being upset over a label with somebody else or a celebrity with somebody else and what's happening with them, and then they're not still looking within themselves to what's really going on here. I shake my head every time I see it. I was like, wow, is it really that important? Is it really that important? Because what's going to be important is that, yes, when the grid goes down, and again, I felt like, you know what, maybe it does need to go down. It really does need to go down, because it's going to be interesting to see how people are going to respond in their own backyard and lane when there's nothing for them to see connecting to what people post, connecting to what people promote, connected to anything. But they're going to be forced now to have to go within. You see, they're going to be forced to have to go within. I'm pretty sure they're not going to turn to books as much. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, because they're going to be busy thinking and focusing on their survival. So this is the time you get to exercise your intuition even more and more and more and more and more. Do it every day, even more than this. That's right, Emily, tuning in. Peace, peace, moving crew. Greetings, Jalen. Greetings, Ayla. Is it Ayla? Jamie Lyons. Oh, sure. What did I do here? It says, dreamed about my dressing up with a white dress. Oh, interesting. Well, I know, like, certain times with dreams, when it comes to the colors with the white, that makes me feel like some type of initiation. And I do know, based on the readings that I've been having, that there's a feeling of I'm losing control. I'm talking about the divine masculine. I feel like I'm losing control of the things that matter to me the most, like a job or a relationship that they're still staying with it, even though it's not doing anything productive any longer, you know. And you know, it's really, I'm being sarcastic now. It's really fascinating to see how people pretend when they say, yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, I love this. I say, yeah, you love them, but are you in love? How many of you on here have been in love before? Please tell me, be honest with me. How many of you on here, be honest with me, have ever been in love? Have ever experienced being in love? Not, oh, I love someone because I love them as a human and I care. Have ever been in love? In love. And I'm saying in love with someone, okay? Because I know some people say, oh, you're talking about in love with life and in love with nature. I'm in love with love, nature, life, and everything, and with someone. So have you ever been in love? Have you ever been in love? Me. What's your name? Me? Have you ever been in love? And please tell me in the description, what was it like when you experienced being in love? What was it like for you? You could be very brief and simple, or you can be very descriptive. Good. You with someone. So not you. So Jalen, you've never experienced being in love with someone outside of yourself then, is what you're saying then, right? Only with yourself. Nothing wrong with that. Just asking. I'm not grading you or anyone. Just want to know. And there's a reason why I ask. I spoke about, if any one of you who don't know, that I've been doing a book for a very long time. I haven't recorded in a long time, but actually no, that's not true. I recorded today, where I was talking about being in love, and I spoke about what it's like to feel the highest feeling of joy. And it goes in levels, you know, like you say, happy, joy, and then the higher attainment of joy is blissfulness. Blissful is when all of your chakras are ignited. All of yourself, all of yourselves, all the multi layers of self is in blissfulness and joy. It's a vibration that is so powerful and so strong that the human body, if it is not in a space where it's able to process that joy, it will hurt. It will be painful. And the reason why it will be painful is because your soul itself is in that pure state already. Okay, it's in that pure state of blissful and love, and that means that you're in acceptance of this love, and the acceptance of this love begins with the Creator, because you're the Creator. God's source creator loves you immensely, unconditionally. So like I said to the young lady yesterday, I said God had a very clever way of bringing the dangling carrot, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do to get y'all to wake up, and I'm doing this out of love. That's what a mother would do. You know, a mother will do things out of love for her children. And so mother and father created the aspect of a twin soul coming onto your path, or a higher love, where it's going to open your heart. And as it opens your heart in the beginning, it's going to start to break down all the barriers of between that feeling. Okay. So that way now, it's not just the focus on when are we going to get together, when are we going to get together. It's more of how much am I going to be more in harmony with myself, and knowing that the harmony I have within myself, it passes through like a wave. You know, it's like my mom is on the other side, and just because she's on the other side doesn't mean she doesn't exist, because I still feel her. She's still connected to me. I'm connected to her. You see? And so that wave and that feeling of love, right? It's eternal. And it's to remember that feeling, to know that feeling, that no matter what, nothing can separate that love. And so when you are actually in contact, whether physically or through a dream, with whoever you're connected to, that's source. Can you take it higher? Can you meet me there with that thought process, knowing that whomever you're connected to, that's source, creator? You're having that experience through source, with source, creator, that divine love. And so everything that you've been taught, everything that had come in with all of those beings, you know, because you know what, everything we have good and bad, right? So all those beings that came in and brought in all that information and tried to keep us in separation, all of the manipulation, everything that had to deal with the shadow element of the feminine, right? The shadow of the masculine energy that had been attracted to that shadow of the feminine. And so if your beloved had gone into another relationship with some label as karmic, they have to go through into that relationship, because there you met at that place in consciousness with wherever you were in your space, okay, of wherever the traumas have been, or wherever you were insecure, or whether you were thinking less than of yourself, okay? And let's just face it, we've all been there. I've been there. Oh yes, I've been there, right? And as you work through your cycle of healing, you start to raise the bar. And as you raise the bar, so does that happen with your individual love. And as we all do it together, this is what's breaking. That's where the breakthrough is coming through more than anything else. Anything else. And I realize that most humans are afraid of love. They're afraid to feel what it's like to be in love. They're afraid to process that feeling, because they're afraid of losing it. They're afraid that it's too good to be true, because you're so used to the trauma of being broken all the time, or looking forward to when it's going to break up, or you can't trust it. You can't trust it. And I say, imagine when all of us are at that place where we know what this feeling of being in love is and what it does. Because what it does is it creates a whole new reality. A whole new reality. What that reality looks like, what I saw, what I experienced, what I saw was a brand new earth where the grass was so green and beautiful. There was no need to worry about food, money, and none of that stuff, because guess what? All the love took care of all of that. That's not normal, what we call normal circumstances, because that's not what you've been taught. You've been taught to rely on outside sources. You got to work hard for your money. You have to do the traditional things, and then you rely on that individual, and that individual is relying on you. And in some cases, that individual is codependent, work through all the codependencies and feeling like you have to have this from this person. I didn't hear from them. This didn't happen. Oh, that's not normal. That's not the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do that. Oh, you're from two different backgrounds, two different parts of the world. The stories go on and on. And so when we break, yes, that's right, Jalen, breaking the cycles of separation, breaking the cycles of the belief systems, breaking the cycles of speaking out and saying things are too good to be true, breaking the cycles of feeling that you have to get permission from someone when it comes to your relationship, breaking the cycles of feeling you have to control someone, like you got to control someone, you got to control the outcome, you got to control when, where, how, this, that, and whatnot. You see? And there's no accountability for oneself. You see? And I always say to someone, when you are ready, really, really ready, and then you ask yourself, am I ready to meet myself? Am I ready to really, truly meet myself where I'm at when it comes to connecting to love? Because when you're truly, 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 deeply, deeply in love, there is no condition placed on it. None. If you say, well, I love them, I'm in love with them, but as soon as you say but, then you got to ask yourself, where's the but coming from? But what? And again, it doesn't mean because you're in love with someone that it means that you put up with someone being abusive, taking advantage of you, because that's not what I'm talking about. Okay? I'm talking about returning to the pure essence of being in love and in a childlike presence of joy with this love. And the love comes together as one. Okay? And it unifies. And when it's in that unified place, in a unified state of consciousness, I'm talking, okay, it burns through everything that's not of love. It burns through it. Okay, that's fire. It's like a fire energy, and it's more than just a physical fire. Well, I don't say physical fire, but it's like a plasma energy, and that's the reason why Spirit showed me that even with everything that is what we call chaotic, the parts of what's going on the earth, chaotic, the government breaking down and all this kind of stuff, juicy stuff, right? And all that juicy stuff that's going on, it's building us up. So it's like everything is spinning in the opposite direction now. It's moving in the opposite direction, and that's the way it is meant to be. So that's why I was not surprised that the weather on the East Coast is cooler. I don't know if any of you are on the East Coast. I know someone from London, I was watching her YouTube and she was talking about how cool it was over there, like the fall. And I was like, yes, that's what's happening here too. So this, like, the earth is going through her own fluctuations, and so are we. And so again, it means that a lot of things that we might expect, right? Expect in terms of the change, really work through what you are letting go of, what you think you see and know, because a lot of things are going to start presenting itself that we'll never have seen before, never have witnessed before. Okay? And with the masculine energy, it's going to feel strange in terms of the change, especially when it comes to feeling secure. Okay, especially the security feeling. And when I say secure, I mean it because, there was always that quote unquote, the man is supposed to work hard, the man is supposed to get a job, the man is supposed to be, the provider. And yes, it's in them to be a provider. It's in them to provide the security for the family, right? As far as the presence is concerned. But then there's also the component that's missing is also knowing themselves. They have been connecting to the system itself that didn't honor them, and so they had to honor themselves. There was a lot of mind programming, mind manipulation, something that would come in place to pull them away from what their true feminine is, okay, or connected to their true divine feminine. That's also within them, that it's not labeled as, because if they're being gay or stuff like that, that the words that are used to manipulate, because a lot of things that's happened is where words and things were used to manipulate, the agenda, so that way you turn away from the truth of who you are. Just like even with African spirituality, where everything that we do or practice in African spirituality, even where I grew up in the church, is looked at as evil, bad, and voodoo and stuff like that. So all these components is making up for what we are standing true to, what the truth is, that even if someone else is going off their head with thinking it's something else, it's not our problem anymore. It is not, because no matter what, the truth is pulsating out, like really pulsating out. So it's like looking at two different sides of the spectrum, okay? Where you look at something and says, well, that's really something that, you know, even the word illuminate, right? Illuminate. Anybody look up what the word illuminate means? But then they use the word Illuminati to make it look like you're to be in fear of Illuminati, because it's like something that's used to go against us. And so for those who are becoming more enlightened and coming into alignment with being enlightened, then they're in fear of the word illuminating, right? And all the different words that have caused spellings. And so that is where a lot of the stuff is breaking down more and more and more and more. And to also turn away from love, to turn away from the feelings of being in love, to turn away from what it means to be connected to self, to turn away from love, laughter, dancing, what was pushed into certain components of not being able to connect with one another. You see, that's what it does. That's what it does. And I tell you this, when I spent this past Sunday with my family and celebrating my cousin's love with her husband, and she said in her own vows that she wrote that he was the one that knew her soul, okay? And I was like, listen to this. I was like, if that's not God speaking to me, I don't know what else to say, right? And the love of mother was just flowing through the beautiful garden. And all I could feel was how those who were crying, because it was tears of joy. Because this is what earth is, not what it's going to be, what it is when we're feeling the love of joy, because we're witnessing the presence of love. Where how long has it been before you actually see an authentic relationship, an authentic connection, that you see it, that you too are it, okay? You're not working towards it. You are the love. Yes, you are the love of your life. And no, it's not a trick. Spirit didn't bring someone into your life to make it a trick, okay? Tricks are for kids. It's actually something that you created because you wanted to demonstrate what the power is going to look like with bringing in the expression of this love in its highest point, its highest level, where nothing can stop it. Okay? Nothing can stop it. And that's it. And this is where the world itself is going to witness and feel it, the presence of this love. Okay? But it's being witnessed and felt in its utmost power, beyond. It's not even written anywhere what it's going to look like. Okay? But I can feel what it's going to be like. I can tell you that. And it's for real. It's real. It's real. And so if you don't believe it's real, then that's where you work on what one may feel as if what they may not feel that they deserve to have. Because I notice that majority of people who don't want to talk about it, it's because they're in a place of not feeling as if they're loved by the divine. They're still having to work through feeling that they don't deserve love, feeling as if it's too good to be true, feeling as if it's going to be taken away, feeling as if it's never going to happen, or it has to look a certain way. Okay? And I can tell you this, that when I was at the wedding and I was dancing my ass off, literally, with my children, my aunts, and is everyone perfect? In God's eyes, everyone's perfect. Okay? Everything is perfect. Everything that you feel goes against you is still for you. All that love that was expressed at the wedding, regardless of who I knew, who I hadn't seen in how many long, whatever issues with this one or that one, that didn't matter. What mattered, what I stayed in the moment, because I was enjoying it so much, was how I felt love. I felt love with everything. I appreciated the love with everything. I appreciated the long drive. It was an hour drive. I appreciated the time to be able to dress up and look nice and feel beautiful and look beautiful. That's right. I knew that everything was on time and everything was in its purpose, and source brought that energy together so we can all get to witness what it's like to make time stand still and witness the love between two people that are creating that space of vows for themselves, and that we also feel it for ourselves. Do you feel it? Do you feel it? It's almost like you were there. So you see, it's like sometimes we might feel, well, I don't know what it's like, so I don't want to think about it. I don't know what it's like to be in love because everybody in my family has broken up in their relationships, and I came from a broken home, and that's what you have to work on. If I feel that if you have an issue talking about being in love, then that means that that's what you work on, because I'm telling you, the new earth itself is about being in love. And I'm talking about being in love with everything. Everything except the bugs. I mean, I like the bugs. So, and I don't like when people are disrespectful or dishonoring, and you know what I'm talking about. It's like you're in that space of being in love with life and being in love with someone else, and then everything just starts to come in so rapidly and powerfully. And it no matter if somebody down the block is doing something, whatever, that they shouldn't be doing, because guess what? They're going to be exiting off the planet anyway. I don't give a flying feather. They're exiting off the planet because you know why? Because their heart is not in alignment with what is happening on the earth. Okay? And as the portal is already open. The portal is already open. Oh, yes, it is. Where I found myself where I couldn't sleep, and up till 10, 11 o'clock. I was like, oh gosh, and then I just like sleep. Then I wake up again, and I just allow myself, because you see, there's going to be a time, like I've said this before, we are no longer going to be having nighttime. It's going to be just a hue of light. Okay. That's what's coming. And there's going to be so much joy that as you walk, that the joy becomes contagious. Because you see, on the other side, that's what Spirit always showed me. On the other side of the realm, it's not high up there, it's not low down below, it's right here, right here. And they show me that energy is where whatever exists on the other side is what exists, is going to exist here. You will have a choice whether you want to eat or not. You're just going to eat maybe for the taste of it, but it doesn't mean that you have to. Your body just will adjust to not having to eat. More of us will continue to do fasting, and bringing your body into alignment with fasting and healing, having the ability to heal yourself. Okay? That's what's important, because as you come into that alignment with anything, because even as a matter of fact, I don't know if any of you, those of you who said that you've been in love, do you remember when you were, I'm going to go to your comments, when you were so in love that you couldn't eat and you couldn't sleep? Do you remember? Do you remember that feeling? Because when you're in love, you can't eat, you can't sleep, you can't function. All you do is think about this person. Just think about that feeling that you have that's filling you up, like when you're a teenager, or even if you're a teenager when you're in love, and you just feel so excited, and you go to the bathroom often. You can't focus on anything else. That's what being in love does for you. That's what, and the Creator created it because the energy becomes so powerful because of what it brings into existence in this reality. So for some people, when they witness this, they may feel like, yes, it can become like a roller coaster, Emily. And for some people, when they experience it, but then they have the traumas and all the sorrow that's attached to it. And so they eventually sometimes end up pushing it away because it's not looking the way that they want it to be. Because they're making it about the other person, but they're not also looking at themselves into what it is within themselves that they need to work on. You see? So, and I even had discussed with I discussed it in the book also. And I said how interesting that even music that exists now, they don't even have like love songs, duets. You don't have any any ballads and stuff like that. Any music that was playing at the wedding was all from 90s, 2000s, and sometimes there's music, like even music, like I said, that makes you really feel in love. Music from the 1960s, 1970s, You know, you had the ballads and the duets in the 1990s too, and so forth. And you know, of course, some of it is that programming, because it's to keep you pulled away from not feeling in love, because you know there's always something that comes with the stress of the bills, the stress of children, things that you're having issues with another individual who you live with, all the pressure, everything keep you separated. This one is working long hours, this one has to deal with the children, the cooking, the this and that, everything just distractions, constant distractions, constant pulling away, nothing that comes together and to keep it unified, you see. So do something for yourself. Make it a practice every day if you can, where you spend time in some kind of joy. Practice it. Practice it as much as you can. Even if it means, you know, like I'll start playing the music and dancing while I'm driving. Like today I went to get gas and I was playing the soca music. I'm just a dance. I love you too, Emily. And when I was there dancing, this lady walked out the gas and she's like, yes, play the soca. I don't know her from Adam, but she's like dancing with me. That's who I am. Bring the joy back into your space. Even if you feel no one is celebrating with you, you'll be surprised. You'll just start attracting, because there's others that are also looking for where the like attracts like. Stop waiting for someone that you know already that it might come through another way, you know what I mean? Because this is how we're planting the seeds everywhere we go. This is how we're shifting the energy everywhere we go. And it's just still being yourself. You know what I mean? Sometimes I just went on the window and start singing loud through my lungs. Even if it looked crazy, it doesn't matter, because it's not about how it looks, it's about how it feels inside when that joy just takes you on. Okay? And it becomes powerful. That's right. So I'm gonna read the comments. Yay. How is everybody being today? That's right. Can you imagine when the month of August started? Lord of mercy. August already. Soon saying, you know, how many of you feel already like it's 2024? Because it sure feels advanced for me. I feel like I've been just like, whew, my goodness. First love. Okay, happy, bliss, extremely high vibration. All right, moving crew. Felt like a substitute for God's love. You talking, Emily? You're talking about? Oh, sure. What's this? When you say it felt like a substitute for God's love, you're talking about your beloved. And you said, right, felt immense joy. Definitely, it was definitely a carrot. Yep, it was that dangling carrot for me too. Felt like melting together. Yes, felt like melting. Yep. Breaking cycles. Yes. It's you see, because all of the ones, you know, what they called the fallen ones, or the ones who turned away from source, there were some who allowed themselves to be tricked and manipulated to feeling that God abandoned you, you know, because that's where a lot of abandonment issues came into play with the divine feminine, you know, with the mothers and children, and also whoever, you know, their connection was with them feeling abandoned, because children were feeling abandoned by their mothers, then mothers feeling abandoned by their spouses. That's why they created that condition of men always going off to war, or they're going off to be with another woman, having babies with other women. You know, it's the same cycle of things that repeated to bring in that separation. And then, you know, and then people transition, come back in, and they're still holding on to that same trauma of believing and feeling as if they cannot have a relationship or connection with whomever that they were meant to be with. And then that feeling is carried, and then they try to recreate that person through another person when that's not their true connection. But if we're staying within ourselves with who we're connected to, and really understanding and overstanding that connection, staying on path with that and where it takes us, then this is what's bringing in that strong bond that's existing on earth right now. And that's what's pushing out all the other stuff that cannot hold onto the earth any longer. That's why it's dismantling, because I'm watching it. I'm observing the whole entire thing. I'm seeing how some people are getting into trouble. This one is being exposed that they're not real. All these different things. It's quite amusing, I tell you. But hey, that's the way it goes. Hey, they showed me that things will go in the opposite direction, and as things go in the opposite direction, then it starts to pull in where things are to come into balance for us. It's a part of the cycle. We chose to come here, to incarnate here from many times before to know ourselves. And the way we're going to know ourselves is by experiencing the opposite. And so each time we have evolved, we have cycled in and out, experiencing all different aspects of ourselves through all of these experiences. And now we're going to fully realize ourselves on the physical plane with who we are, and being able to be a witness to it in what we know from our soul. And so your soul will become even more in delight with what it sees and feels and how it comes together. You see? So be grateful and thankful in every moment for whatever it is that you're experiencing. Okay? And I always say that one of the best things that you can do to help you through the process is write it down, record it, and talk to yourself. Have your own inner dialogue. If you're able to have your own inner dialogue, I know you're real. If I feel that you have a problem talking to yourself, well, I'm not saying you're not real, but something's up with that. So have that inner dialogue. It helps. And the reason it helps is because it's almost like you're having a conversation with yourself. You're having a conversation with Source. You're reconnecting yourself to the energy of what you are trying to understand about yourself and what that experience is. And in most cases for us, in the human element, okay, because we're human and divine, we desire to feel love, to feel honored, to feel valued, okay? And so one of the best ways to experience feeling love, feeling valued is give it to yourself. Okay? Give it to yourself daily. What am I doing to honor myself? What am I able to manage for today for myself? If I'm not, there's another day, there's another moment, there's another time. Be at ease with how life is flowing. How much am I able to let go of the need to control? How much am I able to let go of resistance? Like, in your heart, in your gut, because you have your heart and you have the gut feeling. You have a gut feeling about something where that gut feeling says, I shouldn't do this, or I should do that, but I don't know. Get out of your own way with the fear. Or your gut is saying, don't do this, blah, blah, blah. But you feel like, I want to take a chance, but it might not work out for me. But I'm willing to take accountability that if it doesn't work out for me, that I did make that choice and I'm okay with it. That's still good too. Because you see, you have to keep doing it as a practice, like like when you're, how do I say it? Okay, like say for instance, you're eating something and eventually your body says, don't eat this anymore because it doesn't feel good and I'm going to make you get sick. And you're like, oh, I just want to taste it just one more time. And you taste it one more time and it makes you sick. Then for sure, don't do it. Okay. So just like with anything else to do with making a choice, that even if it feels scary, even if it feels like it's impossible, open your heart and for your mind to be able to discern, to know what to do, and that spirit is going to lead the information to you in whatever way, so that way it's your sign and your signal to make that move. Okay? The more you step into that space, the more you trust yourself, okay? And that you're always listening sacredly. Sacred listening means that I hear what I hear, I feel what I hear, I know what I feel, I know what I hear. It feels right. My heart is happy. My mind is at ease. I feel at peace. So I know I'm making the right choice. Practice that daily. Practice it, because that's the way you'll be able to tell in each moment. Because the more you do that, the more other people are going to start to see, oh, I can't control her or I can't control him anymore. And it's not even going to be, because it'll move away. The energy will just move away. You will no longer be a part of that manipulation energy. You will no longer be a part of the manipulation cycles. You won't feel that interference, what you call interference, coming in, because that's how the energy works. That is how spirit tests you. That's how you test yourself, is by getting the experiences that are coming your way that leads you to where you have to practice it. Practice it. Pay attention. Be cognizant, is it the word? Of yourself and the experience itself, so that way you'll know what moves you're going to make, because it is like a game of chess. It's like you make this move, I make that move. Okay, was this a right move? Okay, no, I'm not going to. And then it's like a wave. The ocean moves itself in a wave. It's not going to stop moving across the rocks just because the rock is there. It's going to find a way to go over the rocks, and it's going to go through the crevices, right? It's going to find itself to go and move through the sand. Anywhere that it's going to fly high, it's going to move low. That's how we roll. That's the soul itself. Your soul is going to bring you to the experiences that you need to have. I'm going to use the word need in this context. Whatever you need to have for your soul purpose, your soul expression, is exactly what is meant to be for you. That's why it's important for you to stay in your lane, because you don't know what that soul is up to, no matter what they're doing. Of course, if there's something for you to open your mouth and speak, open your mouth and speak. Don't just let things slide if it needs to be, because you never know if you're at the right place and the right time at the right moment for how things are to unfold. Use common sense, because I notice, man, there's some people that don't use no common sense whatsoever. Like they don't, it's not, how do I call it? They said if you don't use it, you lose it. Use your brains too. Use common sense. Like if I know something didn't work this way, or it is not aligning, use common sense. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, X, Y, Z. However that it comes into play. But because of the programming that, 12, as I say this, I can only make a decision because this is what I was told. Why don't you read the thing? Comprehend also at the same time. And that requires you exercising. It's an exercise of using your judgment, discernment, tuning in, connecting. When you're connecting, when you're online, on board with connecting, then you will be definitely moving towards the path of always being led in the direction that you're meant to be, and the right place and the right time. Even if it means that you're 5 minutes late and it prevents you from having a car accident, or your plane is taking off and the plane does not take off, something, everything and all things, you put it out there. Say, I am grateful, I am thankful for everything and all things that come into alignment for me. I am grateful for all the blessings that I receive. I am grateful and thankful for the relationships that exist within me, that is showing outside of me, and how everything comes into its alignment. I'm grateful for whatever it is that, not because I'm learning anything, but I'm coming more into awareness of myself, and I'm able to observe and to see all the spectrums of consciousness that shows and reflects me. I am in gratitude for spirit. I'm in gratitude for the Most High, in knowing that everything and all things that move through these spectrums of light and dark is not only the expression of the joy of my soul, but I'm able to live freely and feel the freedom of who I am. And so it is. See, that affirmation itself, you can say it repeated. Give yourself the affirmation. You don't have to say it 50 times a day. You just say it one time and boom, that's your power. That's it. Anything that seems off, rebuke it out, shift it out, and say something. Okay? Do not be afraid. Do not be alarmed of yourself. Okay? A lot of times we've been taught to be afraid of ourselves and to be afraid of what we can say. You don't even have to be in front of someone to shift an energy. You could be right in your space where you are, without any tools, without anything, and then it changes, and that's it. It's done. It's done. You are healed. It is done. I am healing. It is done. I feel good. It is done. I feel bad. It is done. I feel sad. It is done. I feel joy and sadness. It is done. I feel like everything is falling apart as I come together. It is done. It is done. See? That's how it works. Being an acceptance of both and the all there is. See? That's the power. It's just like what I said too, in the book. You need the battery, both sides, positive and the negative. You need both sides for it to work for you. You see? And sometimes it's not because that you do something, when you do find out whatever part of yourself that you don't want to see. Sometimes it's just knowing it, and it comes into awareness, and you're like, wow, okay. I see my, what we may call the pitfalls. I see my downfall. I see that part of myself that I don't like. I see that part of myself that I might feel is imperfect, but you might look at it and say, oh my God, what are you talking about? That's beautiful. That's perfect. And we are the ones that judge ourselves. We are the ones that judge everything we say and do every single day practically. But imagine what it's going to be like when you're no longer judging yourself. You're just in acceptance. When you're in acceptance, you're free. See, there's different layers of this freedom. Different layers of this freedom. The freedom itself is not just the freedom of thinking, because, for some and most of us, we've been in bondage. Some have been in bondage mentally, spiritually, and physically. For myself, me no say me just come out of the body real quick, because me can't see myself just accepting anybody want to come keep me trapped. That's why I know Spirit did not have me incarnate in certain countries. Hear me again. That's why I know Spirit did not have me incarnate in certain countries that still suppress the females, that still suppress the feminine energy. And I tell you this, anyone who is suppressing anything that is meant to be free, they are the ones that are going to be feeling the karma that's coming to them, okay? So I hold a space for everything that represents the freedom and the truth in what is the divine worship of the feminine energy, what comes together with the masculine energy, so things can finally work. So things come together in a wholesome space for what comes into the creativity, for what comes into the creator, for what comes into the space of the creator and nature, what comes into nature and the natural space to what works, okay? What comes together for the children, for the innocence of the children, for the children to also be free and to feel safe and protected, for both the females and the males, for all those on earth who are on the path, on the way for righteousness, that is also living righteously, that is in awareness, that's living consciously. That means we're conscious and aware of one another. We are no longer having to feel as if we have to look behind our shoulders any longer. That we know that everything is moving in its divine. Did you hear about that animal? There was an animal, I think it was a dog, that saved a baby that was abandoned by her mother. The mother threw the baby in the garbage. And the dog was so smart. That was Spirit. Took the baby and carried the baby somewhere to be safe. There was a lion that saved a little girl in one of those African countries. I don't remember which country, you can look it up, where she was kidnapped. And the lions protected that little girl. She was about 12, I believe. Okay? Until she was brought to a safe space by the lions. This is what's happening on the earth. And imagine we would have hoped that would have been from humans who would protect our children and protect the babies. But sometimes it may not happen in those cases. But I tell you, what's changed right now is that the divine itself supersedes anything else that represents the opposite of what doesn't hold in terms of pure love on this planet for anything that is meant to be. Okay? So the more we elevate The more we hold that higher state of consciousness and protectivity, just know that something or someone somewhere will come in the nick of time, wherever it may be. Okay? And we just know that. We can't save anyone, but we can definitely keep that power and protection within ourselves. So that way, even if my back is turned, that nothing can come at me, nothing can come at you, nothing can come in those who are to be protected. That is what's key. That's what's important also. Not just talk, yap, 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 yap. Pay attention to your inner circle with what's going on with the children. Pay attention to your inner circle with anyone who's being hurt. Pay attention to what you hear and see. That's what awareness is. That's what consciousness is. That's what coming together as a tribe is. That even if you see someone that looks like you, even if they're Nubian, even if they're so-called spiritual, Christian, whatever, and you know that they're doing things that's not right, speak up and say something. Stop talking about the other ones who are doing things, but yet still it's in your own backyard, but you're not saying nothing. You just going on and on with people doing these things. That's the key to how things are breaking down. You see something, and that's what the seeing something, saying something applies. Okay? Because they say, as we say in my country, one cocoa basket full. Because as you do one thing, everything else starts to follow with everyone that's doing what is right. Okay? Because and if it just takes one person with one thing, one way, and everything just creates a domino effect to what happens within our inner circle. Okay? Sometimes you don't even have to say anything. Just be the power of what must be in balance on the earth. What must come together. What must be protected with what's right. You see? That we speak up. That holding back your tongue and holding back is no longer accepted. No longer accepted. That's it. Okay? So I wanted to share that. See, I have to drink some water from my copper cup. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go through the comments again. Oh, Jennifer, you've been at home. Oh, wow. So I'm glad you brought up, not because you're in pain, but you brought up pain because there was something else I wanted to share with you guys. Sort of a self-discovery, not a self-discovery, but something that Spirit led to me that I know that I'm meant to share, and it has to do with another healing component. Okay, as many of you know, that I had went through that period when I was having experiences with my colon, and it was very bad. I was having burning in my lower intestine. Sometimes it was accompanied by constipation, bleeding, and all kind of stuff, and and so I had started working on myself and trying to work with Spirit in guiding me in what to do in a holistic way, as well as whatever traditional medicine. And so I was led to something called turmeric, and it was a liquid turmeric, like an orange type drink to drink every morning. And then I was also led to it's something that what it does, it works with the intestines when you become inflamed or something like that. And so it helps to regulate and balance out, which you take it before you eat and so on and so forth. So anyway, I had my first colonoscopy. Charlize always say, you're not saying nothing properly. And so if we never say it properly, everybody will be all right. And so everything was perfect. And I felt and knew in my heart that everything was going to work out good. Because if you remember, if any of you that have been following me, I had to work through my own anger and pain that I felt towards the collective and where I've helped people, and how I felt with not feeling valued and honored and so on and so forth. So I worked through that, and I'm able to really, and plus I'm still doing the alternate day fasting and the intermittent fasting, because this is also very, very, very important to still work through with yourself, and not necessarily what you eat, but how you eat and your relationship with food. So I also had periodontal surgery twice during this whole with the North Node in Taurus. And as you know, as soon as the nodes changed and switched over to Aries, oh my goodness, I felt the difference in my body, and I felt the difference within myself once the notes changed. Like I felt like I came out of prison, like some type of prison or something, right? Not that I was in prison, but that's how it felt, because I couldn't do as much. I had to just stay focused on my health. And so the next thing I had worked on was that I had orthodontic, not orthodontic, what am I saying? Periodontal surgery on the left and the right side of my body, right? Of my mouth. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was saying to me, why does it seem like as if so many people are having periodontal surgery, gingivitis, tooth extraction? Charlize had to have like so many fillings. I'm like, why so much fillings? The other dentist I was going to never saw anything wrong with me, but I was having so much pain. But I knew and realized that some of the pain I was having was also spiritual, what I was experiencing. So it so happens, lo and behold, Spirit led a video to me to do with this doctor. I don't remember the name of the doctor, but I'm gonna look it up, because I want to give you this, because this is so key. Because Pluto is in my chart, is in Virgo, and it's about health. Health is wealth. Okay, health is wealth, and as we come into these unions, we have to be healthy in our minds and our bodies and our souls. So that means that a lot of things that we took on from our ancestors, things that we took on within our families and programming and, eating habits. Okay, her name is Dr. Ellie Phillips. She's a dentist and she's a doctor, and she deals with holistic healing type of methods to do with the health of the mouth, the health of the gums. And what's so important about what she spoke about is because when she said, do you floss every day, or do you have issues with your gum? Because this is what the truth is, blah, blah, blah. And when I listened to her video, which was maybe about 20 minutes, I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh my goddess. I was like, and she spoke about things that it wasn't just now. This is something she's been talking about for years. And she did talk about the fact that, imagine that the things that she knew that she tried to share, she said it would put a lot of dentists out of business and hygienists, because they're only about making the money. They're only about, oh, let me take out your tooth, because they wanted to take out one of my other wisdom tooth, and my spirit said no. I said, there's a reason why God gave me the wisdom tooth, so it's gonna stay. That's what I said to him. I said, you're not taking it out. And then there was another young lady that I saw. Her father of her children was my neighbor, and I saw him, and he said, yeah, they were going to extract my teeth. And I was like, and he's only in his 20s. I was like, what the fuck for? I was like, no, something wrong with this picture. So anyway, what I want to share with you with this, it will be really as brief as possible. This is so imperative, because it's not only just, I would say, saving you money, but I'm talking about what's going to bring things into alignment for us when it comes to our health and our well-being. Because if you do not have healthy gums, you also can create illnesses in your body, diseases, sepsis, infections, because it has to do with the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. And so the thing is that if you have a certain acidic buildup in your mouth and it's not in balance, then what will happen is your body starts to create, even sometimes she says that's what caused a lot of dementia, and they wonder why there's so many people that are diagnosed with dementia, high blood pressure. It's just all, you just name it. This is, what they have. And it's all linked to the gums, okay? And the thing about it is that they don't talk about, when I say they, the doctors, all they want to do is make money by having these periodontal surgeries, tooth extractions, anything to do with the fillings all the time. She said that she saved her mother's life to live longer because all in her family was dementia. And she said she knew that it had to do with their gums. And so there's something called xylitol. When you take it every time after you eat and drink, what it does, it helps to balance out the bacteria that's in your mouth. So when you go to sleep, that's when the bacteria and the acid, builds up in your mouth, in your gums. That creates all the other things that start to happen and save your teeth and save your gums, not having to. And she said that people for years have not had to have any cleaning, because she said it's like when your gums is disturbed, right, and it's not healthy, and you say for instance you go get when you're flossing it, what you're doing is you're aggravating the nerves of the gum, and then it creates some more issues. You see what I'm saying? And so this is the thing, what she was mentioning and talking about, what's important for you to work through on your healing when it comes to your gums and your teeth. So it was very hard to get it because the company itself that make it, Zellies, had been sold out. So I was able to get the mint on Amazon, and I was also able to get it from Walmart. Okay, and again, you take it every single time after you eat and drink. Okay, and they also have the gum. So I just finally got the gum today. I even have, oh shoot, oh my god, me just drop it on the floor. So anyway, I have the gum, and I started taking the gum today, and you can feel the difference also, because even like if you have dryness in your mouth, give me one moment because I don't like when somebody's disturbing me. Okay, so in and of itself, it helps to protect your gums, and the thing about it is that this is known throughout Europe, but anything to do with the US of A, they block it when it comes to health here. Okay, every single time, it never fails. Okay, and they don't want, excuse me, I'm bending now because I'm picking up, because me not care, I'm gonna wash these but drop on the floor. And so every time, or anything to do with our health, or anything to do with anyone's health and saving money and saving their body, or working on whatever needs to work on for their body, this is where they interfere. Because I even heard with the oh my gosh, what do they call that place again? What's that place again in New York, where all the UN had some type of voting thing to vote for if you have any rights as a human when it comes to food or growing food or something like that, right? And the only country that said no was America. That was the only country that did not want to have that happen. You see? So this is the thing when it comes to how we have to look out for our own best interests, how we have to look out for ourselves in what it means when it comes to taking care of ourselves, our diet, what we eat, and our own health. Okay, because that's also a part of you being empowered. Okay, it's not just the workspace and who you live with and the government, all that stuff. It's also taking back your power in your own health, because a lot of us have been oblivious when it comes to not just the food we eat, but the things that are affecting us, even with the air and the water and all that stuff. Even my brother led me to this water that I got recently, and I've been drinking it. It tastes really good. It has no additives or any kind of stuff in it. So I'm not endorsing or doing commercial, but I'm just sharing with you because I'm constantly, actively working on myself and my health. And so I look at this, that I am choosing, because once you declare something, spirit is going to move things in motion for whatever you're choosing. And I said, I'm choosing not to have any more of these oral surgeries because something didn't feel right. Like I knew whatever I needed to do at the time so I can correct that part so I won't lose my teeth. But at the same time, I said, if everyone else that I know in my circle is affected or being affected by something to do with their gums or something or the effect, then there's something wrong with that picture. So we can't be blindsided, because even the doctor said that when she tries to bring it up, she says when she goes to the store and she sees other people buying toothbrushes, she also said, if you have a toothbrush, get 2 toothbrushes. Do not use the same toothbrush morning and night to brush your teeth, because you have bacteria that starts to build up on the toothbrush. Once you use the toothbrush, once you have that oral surgery, once you have that extraction, once you have anything done, you still are going to have bacteria in your mouth. Okay? And so what you're doing is you're alchemizing the enzymes in your mouth. And then what the the mint does, which I got the fruit flavor because I like the fruit flavor. And what it does, it balances out with your gums, so your gums become healthier. She says, you know, the only thing that America likes to do is promote, oh, go whiten your teeth, go do this, but they don't, or get veneers, and they don't talk about, let's solve the issue when it comes to why so many people have issues with their gums. And it's even happening with, you know, younger people. There's more younger people being diagnosed with colon cancer. There's more people being diagnosed with cancer. There's a lot of other types of long-term illnesses that are, you know, that are coming up or coming out because of the things that are happening on the planet right now. So this is being conscious about your health, conscious about what it is that you need to do when it comes to taking care of your body. Even if you feel that you want to go to the doctor, still use your autonomy and your power in how you participate in your own healing as well, not just not just the doctor alone. There are so many options out there right now, and if you are open in your heart to where spirit can lead you to what you can do, or what can be done, the doors will open for you with that. Okay, so I'm going to definitely share 2 videos to do with the dentist, because I was literally binge watching her videos on YouTube, followed her on Instagram and everything, because, you know, anything that's led to me by spirit, I am in gratitude. Because if I'm supposed to share that information, I may not have all the fancy words how to say, but I'm giving you that much. It doesn't matter whether you say, even if you floss your teeth, even if you brush your teeth, it's important to have this to be able to balance out the enzymes in your mouth, and you will save yourself the time. Because there's people, I was like, how can anyone afford to have these type of expensive surgeries? It's absolutely insane. You see, and she even said that on average, most people would say, "Oh, I'm not gonna want to do that. How can I not get my teeth cleaned?" You know. And she says the sad part is most of those hygienists, they have issues with their teeth. Yeah, pretty much. So if you're a hygienist, why would you have issues with your teeth? You should have perfect, you know, healthy teeth, right? So anyway, I'm gonna share that the 2 of her videos in the description. And again, this is for your benefit if you choose. And of course, I'm always going to promote what it means for you when it comes to intermittent fasting, long-term fasting, depending on your goal, whether it's to balance out your body with digestion, to give your body time and room to digest the foods that you've eaten, to break it down. Also, when it comes to your activating the mitochondria DNA in your body, giving yourself that time to I would say, not having to deal with the breakdown of the food, and when your body's digesting, so that way you're able to have more mental clarity, you're less tired, you function a lot higher when you are fasting. You know what I mean? If you're doing it for weight loss, it is excellent. If you haven't noticed, I've released over 30 something pounds off of my body since fasting, since last year, February. I believe it was last year, February, since I had started. And so I just basically move with the flow of when I'm doing the fasting. So some days I do alternate day fasting, where I eat one day and I don't eat, like every 36 hours. Eat, stop eating, eat, stop eating. And it has helped me to correct a lot of issues, my eyesight. And of course, it helped me with the things that I had to do with healing, even with my gums and my teeth as well. And I feel much better. I'm able to fit more in my clothes that I haven't been able to fit in for such a long time. And I'm still working at it. It's not, ended, it's still a work in process, but I'm not doing it where, I'm forced, or I'm at a race with it or anything. I'm just allowing myself to just be in that divine flow of how I do things. My hair has grown a lot. I've even embraced my own hair even more. It's like everything has been shifting more and more and more for me. And I allow myself to stay in that pace, like slow and steady and moving like rock steady, like that. That's how I feel. But when it comes to the that thing that I discovered unlocked to do with the teeth, I was like, oh wow, I have to share this with everyone. And it's not too expensive either. It's worth it for your health. It's worth it for you to, plant your own foods and stuff like that. Or if you're not able to, even Spirit told me, do not buy the fruits and vegetables anymore at the supermarket. Like I'll get other stuff at the supermarket, so I go to my local farm. I've got already been eating from my tomatoes from my garden. Charlize just produced some green peppers. It, like, I literally can smell the true actual smell of the vegetables, where it's not, preservatives and stuff put on it on foolishness, you see? So that's the difference. And again, I allow spirit to guide me where to go. Even if, like, when I found this other farm, it's because one of them was closed, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to find another farm. And I ended up finding another farm where I was in New Jersey, and that's because I was supposed to miss that other one because they wanted me to be aware of this one. That is how we move in that flow, where we allow ourselves to be led to where we need to be led in the next place and the next place and the next place, you see? And that's how beautiful life can be for you at all times when we are listening, okay? And being able to listen in the noise, and being able to listen through the storms, and being able to listen through the quiet. That even if the storm is happening over there and you don't want your power to go out, your power won't go out, okay? I've even had that happening too. Just to share with you, the light has been flicking in and out in the home where I'm staying, and my vehicle did not start for a few hours. This was about 3-4 weeks ago, and Damon, my son, his car had conked out because he went to a barbecue, or no, a barbecue, a graduation party with his friend and his siblings, and his car didn't start wherever it was. So I thought that was so strange how both our cars didn't start at the same time. And then I noticed that day the solar flares were up very high. So I know that it's already starting to happen with, things flickering, things, going out in terms of the light, and, all these electrical impulses are coming through. So I know that things are about to probably embark where some of the grid is going to go down, because we're creating this new reality as far as a new grid. And the old grid itself, the structures that have been built must be dismantled, because it doesn't represent all of the highest for humanity. Okay, so anything that had been built, anything that had been created, even when it comes to the financial situation, yes, there's some instances where we'll still be using cash. Yes, we have the crypto stuff coming in. Yes, we have electronic things that are coming in. Just move with the flow of everything, but still know that you can attain things with or without money. Okay, I got a dress for free. Nice dress, long dress for free. Okay, I didn't ask for it and put it, because it came from spirit to me. Okay, and so I'm saying anything, and it's not because I wanted it and because I needed it, but I'm in gratitude because it's a gift. So be open to the gifts of spirit coming to you, where you're going to be given a home just like that, no strings attached. And I'm telling you the absolute truth. You might even get a car, things that are just given or handed over to you, or it's just there because it's left, because whatever is going to be left on earth, it's like what the scripture says, the meek shall inherit the earth. The meek shall inherit the earth. Let me say that again for those in the back. The meek shall inherit the earth. There is nothing on this earth that anyone, even if they try to be cryptic, hide the information, lie, steal, it cannot be hidden from us anymore. For those who are living righteously, for those who are walking the paths of righteousness, everything shall be added unto you. But for things to be added unto you, you must be reborn in spirit. You must renew your spirit within the Christ spirit within you. That means that you are taking on that part of yourself that connects to the Most High, the Most High divine energy within you, that's guiding you every single day. That you wake up in gratitude no matter what. And the more you give thanks, the more you receive. If you have a problem or an issue with receiving, work on that. That's feminine. If you have a problem with taking action and taking control of your life, that's masculine. Okay? I mean, did I say that right? The other one was feminine. I hope I said it correctly. But either way, it's that's the dance. That's the dance within you. It goes in, it goes out. It goes in, it goes out. Okay? So let's take this moment and this time. I'm going to share my new sound bowl. Yes, I got a new sound bowl. And it's different than the other one that I had. And I'm still playing the music. You know, I have to play the music in the background. I have to play the music in the background so I can clear the energy. Oh, you've been doing the oil pulling. I did do that too, Jennifer. And it didn't work. It didn't work. But I know the oil, that coconut oil is good for the teeth, the gums, you know. And again, it's like a lot of things are coming through, you know, because when the planet had been so dense, you know, there's a lot of things that would show up that we weren't able to address, or it just kept repeating and repeating. So because of the frequency going up higher, we have to address the things that have been attached to our bodies, that has to be healed, that has to be addressed. And we're moving towards the stage of prevention. You know, when they say prevention better than the cure, or preventive measures. You see what I'm saying? So that's where we're at, is preventive measures, correcting the codes. We're activating the codes that exist within us, the codes that existed before, where things were closed up from the dome because it had to be protected. But now the energy is coming in freer, where we are able to be in the true expression of self, okay, and who we are. And we don't have to hide our gifts and our talents. We don't have to hide, you know, who we are and everything that we are able to bring into creation. That we're able to be free to speak, to be who we are. That we're able to be in the fullest expression of our soul, okay? And that's just that. So if you do readings, if you do healing, if you make oils and perfumes, and you offer Reiki, all of that stuff, you do not have to worry about feeling weird, okay? Because that's the reason why Spirit created the energy of what happened during the sea time, okay? Don't go into all the narratives about the new ones that are coming up and all that stuff. Stay away from that vibration in what you see. Remember, the monkey one came, this other one came, all the different names, because it's all tactics to put fear in you. And remember that your body is a powerful ship. Okay, you are the one that's steering that ship. You are the one that have the specific codes within you and what you're making to function with this body. Okay, and so take care of your body. Truly take care of your body. We're not meant to age and get old. That's another programming. Everything that you can do in the feminine energy, in terms of feeling great, looking great, smelling good, dancing, laughter. With the men, you can also get your pedicures done, where you get your feet done, and you don't have to necessarily put on nail polish or whatever. But either way, it's about self-care, taking care of yourself, loving yourself unconditionally, loving yourself into so much, okay, that it spills over to the next one. Okay, that's right. So I'm gonna just take one little. I'm playing a little reggae music in the background for all those music lovers out there. If you remember Fatty Fatty by the Heptones. Hey, I love my music, you know. They say, I love my music gone to bed. So we just want to shift this vibration a little bit with some music. And then I'm going to play the sound bowl. You know, even during those days, you know, back in the 60s, 70s, when they had all these songs, it was always the man is singing his heart to the female to lure her in, to let her know what his expression is to her and how he desires to connect with her. And then the women will sometimes sing with what they feel from their heart and what they'd like to connect to. But I do know that some of the songs that were sung back in the 60s was mostly based on heartache and pain, separation, and in some cases a longing for one another, okay? And then in the 70s now, it was like a lot of frequency and codes were coming in when it comes to love and being together, and also what that expression is as a unit, as a tribe, okay? Being in the groove and the power with it, you know, being in the platform shoes, the high afro, you know, the women were coming into themselves with the sexiness. Also the men, they were also feeling empowered within themselves as far as their dress style. Now I know they were wearing some funky colors back then, but it was still the form of colors that come together in that spectrum of consciousness when it comes to the tribe and when it comes to that unification and that expression of that tribe coming together. Okay, so I feel in this time like everything's coming together in combination. Okay, and do know that all music itself is still an expression through the divine. Whether we call it lower or higher, it is still an expression. It's like, it's almost like when you say we're having the last dance, right? And that last dance means that everything and all things that's going to show itself, because we're gonna see now everything that we needed to see about ourselves, everything that we created throughout time. That's the reason the book that I have been guided. That's I know my assignment. And my assignment is I put everything together. I bring all the pieces together to the puzzle. That's where I fit in, where my sun is in Aquarius, how it shines through and illuminates the consciousness. It's an illumination. And that illumination itself is how we're able to see all the pieces to the puzzle, okay, without judgment. But we acknowledge whatever it is that we have created, and we are also able to bring it together so it all makes sense. Whatever that does not serve the highest good for us, for all of us in unity, shall no longer prevail. We are grateful and thankful for everything that we have brought through all generations. There is no generation that's better than the other. We know that we're in a time of no time and all time. Time does not exist. Everything is happening now. Everything is in its divine order. Everything is in its perfection. You may not know what that perfection is, and it's not up to you to know, because that is something divine. Let's give our Creator a clap that is within us, because we are the divine spark of the Creator, and the Creator is in joy for all of its existence, for all of what it has created, because it is called it good. And everything was created according to what was felt, according to what was meant to be. And so we're in gratitude for the experiences as we bring forth what we call this time, this age, this new age of Aquarius, where we're bringing in the heart of the lion, where we're bringing in everything what balances out, because, you know, the Nile River flows within us. It flows within us. We're the one that bring the waters together. We bring the darkness and the light together. We're able to see through the dark and illuminate what we cannot see. And we illuminate what we cannot see because we have a sacred listening through the ear and a sacred listening to the heart. We're able to listen through thoughts, and we're able to cipher through everything that has been stored in the Akashic records. And whatever we're able to look at and observe, we're able to place it back where it belongs, and we're able to come back and be free again, because we were always free, but it's just for you to know it and click your heels and know that you have always been home. And so it is. So we're in gratitude again, once again. So if anyone of you have on any socks, any shoes, let's take them off. What's interesting, this song playing right now is a dub style, and it's called The Darker Shade of Black. How perfect is that, huh? Because, you know, they try to make it seem like anything to do with darkness is evil, and again, it's all that manipulation and all that distortion to get you to steer away from what is necessary for you to look at and to embrace of yourself. Okay. Yes. So let's just get centered. Let's get centered. Let's put our feet on the ground where we are. Let's just be so grateful for what our feet means for us, because the feet allows us to have the ability to move. It allows us to walk. It allows us to get us to where we need to go. It allows us to drive if we do drive. It allows us to just really go to many places. You know, let's not take that for granted, that you have your feet, that you have your legs to walk, you have your arms, that you can write, that you can hold something. Okay, let's be in gratitude for our eyes, that we're able to see, that we also have our mouths, our teeth intact. And if we don't, then we're grateful that spirit finds a way that we're able to recreate the teeth that we need, and that we can now move forward with that perfect healing that we need for our bodies. Because when you are whole and healthy in your mind, and we're working to the the space of where we have mental clarity, you know, when the mind is aware of what it knows, and it's able to connect to the the experience, and how it's interpreting the experience, and how it is able to sift through that reality, and it knows that however it sees things and brings all the data together, it is in amazement and wonder of self with what it knows. Okay, and then it works together in a marriage with the heart. And it works into the marriage with the heart, where it allows the heart to feel, to know what it feels, to recognize the feeling, to recognize what the heart means for us, what it means when it comes to our communication. We're bringing on board the communication through the heart. And so the lion's heart is just like the Wizard of Oz, where Dorothy, through the external circumstances of the lion, was where she desired to experience courage. She felt that if she didn't have the courage to move forward, because she wanted to get back home. So the outward expression of Dorothy was the lion. And so you are the lion as well. You are the expression of that lion that is sometimes had been in fear of itself. And now it's able to find the courage, because without fear, you wouldn't know what courage is. And so as we are in gratitude for the courage that we find within ourselves, where we're able to stand up, speak up, we're able to move forward, we're able to observe, we're able to break things down in our realities, in our reality to what it really is. That's what alchemy is. And as we bring in this sacred alchemy, we're able to see the divine love that is within us, that connects us to where we bring that balance between our hearts and our minds and our souls. And that brings us even greater peace that remains within us on the earth. That all these cycles, these moon cycles, is just a representation of every part of ourselves, because we've been all of everything. We've all been Aquarius, we've all been Capricorn, we've all been Pisces, we've been Leo, we have been everything, okay? Nothing has been separate for us. So some of us are just moving through the stages of where we need to be, and assisting those who may be a little further ahead, is what we call it. And still, it's all happening simultaneously. Remember that, simultaneously. Okay, so everything that has come into existence, everything that has been created, let us give the thanks for what has been created, for what has served its purpose, for what we are letting go, and how we're moving forward. Okay, that we no longer have to divide ourselves because if someone is not in the same belief as we are. Because as time goes on, whatever it is that is believed shall go away. But the one thing that will always remain is true love. That's it. True love is what will always remain, no matter what else was created in a belief, no matter what else was created as a pattern, no matter what else has kept us down, No matter what else has been kept dense on the planet, no matter what else has kept us in fear and bondage, okay? Love is what's prevailing. True love is what's prevailing. Everything that is to be authentic and real, raw, like the primate, like looking at the what becomes the diamond, as one will say. So to get to the diamond, you have to get through the other parts of yourself. And that means, yes, you may get upset over the words you hear and the things you see and what this is true and what's not true, but stay on track now. Stay on track. Okay? All right. So now we have our feet planted. And I'm going to use my new sound bowl. It's the smaller one because, you know, I have the big one too. That's right. You know, big things, small things, you know. Everything has its meaning and its purpose. We're in gratitude for all there is, and so it is. See? So let me just have the sound of the sound bowl. No music in the background. Just the quietness. And here it goes. So much gratitude for everything that comes into alignment and what grounds on the earth for what we see and what we feel. That we're no longer separating all the parts of ourself because we have never been separated. That was just an illusion. So everything that is breaking apart, everything that is breaking down while Pluto's in Capricorn, we're grateful for Capricorn because, you know, we're able to highlight what it means to work for yourself and what it means to work on all the parts of you that needs the structure, that needs the grounding, that needs to come together when it comes to the earth and mother, okay? And what's best for us now. See? So I'm using the bigger bowl now. You heard the smaller one. Taking a deep breath. Inhale and exhale. Let us inhale and exhale again. Whatever we take in, we're allowing it to be released out. Whatever comes in, we're allowing it to be released out. And so we're once again, in so much gratitude for Spirit for all the messages. I'm in gratitude for everyone on here, for those who've come and gone and come and gone, and still, no matter what, our presence is still here, still known, whether we're physically here or not. I'm in gratitude for everything that comes together and whatever messages that we receive, that we're able to put the pieces together for our own puzzles and our own timelines as we create new timelines and more timelines and everything that comes together in such fullness and abundance. 888 is an epitome of abundance, and we're an abundance of love, an abundance of information, we're an abundance of clarity, we're an abundance of health. Everything's coming together, health and wealth, because when you have the health restored, as health is restored mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, what comes into balance. And as that comes into balance, that is what creates the wealth that's within us, because we are the true currency on the earth, regardless of whatever is created, whether it's physical money, whether it's cryptocurrency, whether it is digital currency, whether it's a check, whether it is something borrowed or something bartered. We're in gratitude for all of what exists, that everything that may look like or appear as tricks of the enemy, as we call it, that we're still blessing, and whatever God has created, it is blessed. It is blessed. We're thankful and grateful for all the blessings that come through. Whatever is necessary to break down, it will break down. But know that was one thing breaks down, something else is created. If something is created through whatever is broken down, we're still in gratitude. We open our hearts to whatever comes in as the highest and good for all of humanity, that we're able to help one another, that we're able to assist one another, that we know that everything that's out there, there's enough of everything to go around. There is no more lack of what is not, because whatever is lacking is what's lacking within us. So as I create my reality in the abundance and flow of what I choose to receive, so you have the power to do the same for yourself. And so we're in gratitude for all those who come together and are able to bring themselves into the center and the space of what you and I are creating together. And it is the reality, the true reality of peace and prosperity and health and wisdom. Thank you, Spirit, for all the wisdom that we apply to what we know. That everything that we need to know or what we desire to know is within us. That we can use external sources, but that we always remember to come back to ourselves. And so as we remember that daily, that is our daily bread, that we feed ourselves the spiritual food of righteousness, the spiritual food of love, the spiritual food of what oneness is. Oneness does not mean that everything is just all there is, but that we know that whatever is within the space of that oneness, that whatever is coming together that breaks down, that we have the wisdom to apply it into our personal lives and also for those around us, that we know that we stand in the truth. And for those who do not align with the truth that is with us, that they too have to find themselves. And if they don't, that we know that you know the answer and to what happens afterwards. And that as it moves into what comes together for us in this timeline, in this fire portal, because whatever is coming into this consumption or what burns, because you said that the return of the Christ returns through the fire. And so the fire is alchemy. It is the sacred spiritual alchemy within us, what burns through. And as it burns through, it forms into something else again. So let us give thanks and praise to the Most High for as we form and reform and recreate ourselves in who we are. And so it is. Ashe. Amen. Amen. Amun. Gratitude. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Thank you so much for all of you who stayed on with me. And I am thankful and grateful that somehow a message or something that I said has awakened something within you, or perhaps it has given you some peace, or perhaps it is something what we call what true commune is about, where we come together, okay? We come together and we're able to share our feelings and to share experiences, and we're able to bring balance into our lives. And as we bring that balance into our lives with ourselves, it also connects to those who are connected to us and through us. So let us stay in love with ourselves and stay in love with life. Life is beautiful. It is beautiful. If you find yourself feeling life sucks or life is just not working out the way you want it to be, if you know someone who's going through depression or feeling low, just give them a word of encouragement if you can. The mental issues that exist because there's so much healing to happen with so many souls and so many suicides that I'm aware of that is taking place. And even still, we know that everything is still on its purpose and timing to how it occurs. So we're just in gratitude also for the clarity, because the more clarity we have, the more we're able to be in that divine flow of all things and everything. And so it is. Okay, sweet, lovely, beautiful souls. I know I started out with a dance, so why not end it with one too? Okay. And I started it. Let me see. I'm not gonna play anything that I'm always want to mess with people because it don't make any sense. But you know what? I don't even let it bother me. Whatever. That's how I say. Whatever. I'm just gonna play one of Charlize's favorite songs that I love. Okay. United Mind. So if you haven't checked out her album, SANCITY, that is Charlize's album that she dropped I think it was this month. Yes, I think it was at the time flight. No, it was last month. Beg your pardon. And this is called United Mind. Yes. That is her songs. So I will leave the link to her album in case you would like to check it out. And I thank you so much for joining me today. Peace and blessings to you, beautiful souls. One love. Peace out. Till next time.